to Adam through the course of the display about the type of display we will get. It's on the ground level, but it is getting a bit sunnier actually as we speak.
So I've just heard Red One call the aircraft into wall formation, which is our arrival formation, and in fact here they come now over the top of the buildings on the way to Clacton seafront in wall formation, which is one of our widest formations we fly. Red, white and blue smoke trailing as the aircraft come over the top, and a great round of applause from the crowd. And the voice you can hopefully hear there is Red One Squadron Leader Tom Bolt, who's leading the formation.
You hear me, son? Yeah, it's with me. He managed to get back 4-5-4.
Formation with Red One backing them around to the left.
Now the cloud is quite dense today, and there's a bit of sun breaking through, but what will that mean for the type of display they can put on?
Well, we have three shows. We can fly the full rolling and the flat display, generally governed by the height of the cloud, but sometimes also by controlled airspace as well. So today, the cloud base is about 3,500 feet, which should enable Red One to do the rolling display. So not the big looping manoeuvres, but certainly the dynamic rolling manoeuvres. Red One just calling the aircraft into Diamond, our iconic trademark formation. Reds 8 and 9, who are on the outside of 9 Arrow, rolling back into position with white smoke. Now in that iconic Diamond formation, Red One banking them around to the right. Given the height they're at now, then it looks like he has gone rolling. So as the aircraft come around towards us, then he'll be into the Diamond roll, which will stand out really nicely against the white sky here at Clacton.
The headlights, if you like, as well, stands out really well, doesn't it, with the cloud sky. You can see the line now coming round to give us a brilliant view from the Martello end of the seafront coming towards us here at the pier.
And as they come towards us, you're absolutely right, that nose light used by the synchro pair to help find each other when they're doing the nose-to-nose. But now easing up in Diamond, the white smoke about to come on, and then Red One calling the aircraft into the roll as they go upside down at about 2,500 to 3,000 feet. Nice blue sky poking through the gaps there, just underneath, all the aircraft just underneath there. Communications you can hear from Red One, he speaks with what we call a very metronomic cadence. So the other pilots are actually listening to the tone and the rhythm of his voice and reacting to that as opposed to the movement of his aircraft, which is what gives us the straight lines and the symmetrical shapes. If we waited for the leader's aircraft to move, then it'd be too late and those lines would be straight.
It's quite incredible. Here we are on Clacton Seafront, live on BBC Essex. We're with Red 10 and we're hearing the voice of Red 1 in the Red Arrows display in front of us. Just flying over the Gunfleet Wind Farm now.
And as the aircraft come towards us now, we're in one of our widest formations, which is a very technically difficult formation to fly. Known as Swan, it looks like a big Mercedes badge in the sky. The Reds 8 and 9, who are the furthest aircraft out to the left and right, for a very small movement at Red 1 is a big movement for those aircraft a long way away from him. So in general, the further away you are from the team leader, the harder your job is to stay in that tight formation.
If you're listening to BBC Essex, give them a round of applause. Lovely to hear your appreciation of the Red Arrows in Clacton.
Well, Red 1 have just called the aircraft into Big Vixen, which is another of our most complex shapes to fly. Again, a very wide formation shape. The smokes come on at the back of the formation as Reds 8 and 9 start to move forwards. Reds 6 and 7 are going to tuck in behind 2 and 3 in a big wedge shape in the sky. This is actually the widest formation shape that any formation team in the world will roll. And given we have the conditions now, nose lights coming back on towards us as the aircraft start to fly in the nose. The Red 1 will leave the nose up, the smoke will come back on, ready for the Big Vixen roll. The aircraft reacting to the and roll from red 1, trailing white smoke. Big Vixen roll, high in the sky above Clacton. Red 6 and 7 tucked in behind 2 and 3. As the aircraft apex at about 2,500 feet. Start descending down the other side. The aircraft furthest from the leader working the hardest to maintain that formation position. Great view from the end of Clacton Pier. Now all of the pilots on the Red Arrows are current Royal Air Force fast jet pilots. One of the prerequisites for joining the team is to have an operational background flying fast jets. So all of us have flown Tornado, Harrier, Typhoon and several other types amongst us, including several overseas exchange tours. So some very experienced pilots on the team. As they reconfigure their shape, they're in a real arrow formation hanging over the wind farm. It's a privilege to have you here. And in your final year as Red 10? It is my final year. Before I go into that a little bit more, for those of you who can't see the aircraft, we're about to go into one of my favourite manoeuvres in the first half. It's the most dynamic manoeuvre in the first half. 8 and 9 have dropped to the back of the formation. The smoke's about to come on. The air brakes are out. Now 8 and 9 have been called to roll. They're rolling around, corkscrewing around the back of the other aircraft. The smoke's about to change to red and blue as red 1 starts to bank the aircraft around to the left in a manoeuvre called Tornado. And you might be able to hear the reaction from the crowd there as the red and blue smoke comes on. Certainly my favourite manoeuvre of the first half of the display. It's stunning. With the red and blue smoke now with those aircraft banking around the other 7. Beautiful. And even though it's a bit windy, the smoke is sort of hanging enough for us to see. It marks out the position of the aircrafts are taking. And red 8 and 9 working hard to stay basically 180 degrees out from each other as they're corkscrewing around the smoke of the other aircraft. So red 8 setting the tempo, red 9 matching that tempo to stay on the other side of the circle as they're rolling around. And as that manoeuvre comes to a close, red 8 will call for the air brakes in, there he goes, and the smoke will come off from red 9. And that's the end of the Tornado manoeuvre, and that signals that we're approaching the end of the first half of the display, which in a traditional Reds display, the first half is all 9 aircraft in graceful formation shapes across the sky, and the second half is where we have the more dynamic manoeuvring, which is what's about to start now. Don't forget we're going to be watching out in particular for Red 6, John Bond, who was with us on the programme a little earlier. He is an Essex boy. He is so pleased to be back here in Clacton with us. Watching on BBC Essex, if you're listening at home, it's great to have you. So the aircraft now into dagger formation. Essentially it looks like a dagger moving backwards from the sky, the blade of the front. Stay low, it's red 6 and 7 with the red and blue smoke on, staying low, red 8 and 9 coming down to join them as they move away from each other for the first competition. To the skies with their cameras. And out to the left, red 6 and 8. We've got red 6, 7 and 9. They're now descending towards each other. They'll be descending to 100 feet over the sea, closing speed of over 700 miles an hour, and they're going to pass just 100 feet apart as they roll down the line. Red 6 and 7 staying low, reds 8 and 9 will be pulling up. The move called in.